Everyone from the city and the villages needed would be produced in the city and shipped for no charge to the citizen who needed it. Providing these goods would be a way to contribute to the greater good for everyone. So you are a communist? My father laughed. But really, have you decided whether or not you're a Democrat or a Republican yet? He was still fighting Andrea for the remote. Now, Joseph, he doesn't have to be lumped into red or blue, Andrea said as she flicked the channel to Comedy Central to catch The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. He can be an independent, or a libertarian, or a Green Party advocate, or one of those crazy Whigs. Or I can create a whole new political party, dismantle our government alongside a few thousand like-minded rioters, and make a whole new world order, where the people govern themselves and the wise men only make judgments that will benefit the whole. Where you don't only think about you, or your friends, or your family, or your state, or your country, or your species, but the planet, the whole of life on Earth, whenever making a decision. Abortion would be legal because it's logical to guide reproduction wisely for the benefit of the gene pool. Gay marriage wouldn't be discussed because it is a personal matter, and the government should never be involved with the personal lives of its citizens. Military struggles and wars wouldn't exist because there would only be one nation, and no one therein would lack for resources. All would be fed. There would be no parliament, senate, House of Representatives, or rigid politically appointed judiciary bodies. Disputes would be handled locally, and all life on Earth would flourish. We think we're the best country on Earth, but really, we have a whole lot of learning to do, and growing. We can do better in all respects. We will do better. You wait and see. I was developing formulated opinions, and it was nice to bounce them off of adults with antithetic opinions to my own. I was becoming quite the orator, or at least a good arguer. We talked on, and just when we were about to get dragged into another discussion, I managed to slip in a sentence that I'd been dreading having to utter since I started talking again. It was hard. I loved this little family very much, but it had to get done. Well, guys, I started my departure speech. I don't think I'll be around too much longer. I don't think I'll get to see this little guy get born. I gestured to Andrea's swollen belly. My father sat up in the couch. Now, why is that? Where do you plan on living? What are you going to do for food and money? What are you going to drive? I know you aren't too keen on college, but have you really decided to give up on it altogether? My father was grasping at his chest. I could tell this news really caught him off guard. He just got back his firstborn son, sane again, for the most part, and now he was losing him again, right before his second son was to be born. Andrea sat up with my father and took his hand away from his chest, putting it tenderly in her lap. Joseph's eyes began to well with tears. I'm considering moving to another state with a friend of mine. I will use the money from Miss Casey to support myself until I can get a job. I'll talk to you more about it when I have more details. I got up and walked out of the room, leaving my father and Andrea with their jaws hanging open. They both had more questions for me. I just didn't feel up to answering them. I was getting tired, and I wanted to check my email. Osiris, let's leave this weekend. My uncle isn't expecting me for another week or so, but I can surprise him. I was hoping I wouldn't have to live with him while I went looking for a job. I really wanted my own little place. We can get a cute little apartment downtown where all the record shops and coffee bars are. Things are really coming together for me. I can't wait. I'm already thinking of paint colors. We just need to get a car. I think we're going to have to drive down there and probably haul a trailer. I have enough saved for a down payment, but I just can't leave my things behind. I'm really connected to my things. It wouldn't feel right just flying away and leaving it all behind. How much money did you inherit, if you don't mind me asking? Just so I know we don't get down there and get stuck or something. You know, like with no food, living in a box in an alley somewhere. I have an uncle I have to take care of too, just to let you know, so that will take up a lot of my time. But I'd love to be your roommate. We can even cuddle at night and watch movies. That's only if you want to, of course. Did I even tell you that I was attracted to you? Giggle. I think we could get to be really good friends. I already trust you for some reason. You give off a really good vibe. I'd say you have a very pure aura, from what I can tell. Right back with the details. We can meet up and discuss this road trip in person. Isis. I wrote back immediately. I told her I would take care of everything. I found an apartment on the internet and used my father's credit card to put up our deposit and 3 months' rent, and then paid him back in cash. I copied the receipt and emailed it to Isis. The next day, Isis and I went car shopping with my duffel bag stuffed with more than $20,000 in cash. She was wearing a cute little black skirt and a gray wool scarf and a beanie that she told me she had knitted herself. I was proud at that moment to know that she was attracted to little old me. Perhaps it was the money. But all she had to go on was what she saw and what little I said to her. She barely knew me. I was almost scared to let her know who she was really going to move to Texas with. Before we'd had a chance to find something, I saw a little white pickup rolling towards the dealership down Highway 6. My father had come to pick me up, so I just gave Isis $5,000 in cash so that she could buy us a car when she found the one she liked. I took one last ride in his clean white pickup. We didn't talk religion. Philosophy never came up. Politics weren't mentioned. We didn't talk about the night that Mr. Riley hung me upside down from a dogwood rafter in an old rickety shed and buried my best friend and mentor in shallow graves under the tall ash that was probably cut down by now. We didn't talk about my time at the hospital where they mended my leg and put my mother in prison. We didn't talk about my years in a white cell. We didn't even talk about Andrea or the baby. We talked about my mother when she was sober. We talked about how in love they were when they were young and how much they had loved me. We talked about my youth, years I hardly recalled. Balloons and slivers of cake, Christmas trees, real fires in fireplaces, trips to the mountains, My father yelling down at a herd of grazing cattle. Ferris wheels and elephant ears. My first trip to an amusement park at age 5. I drank a huge cherry slushie and peed on the teacup ride. Pastel wallpaper, wrinkly faces staring down at me, and strong loving arms that lifted me effortlessly. A time where we all were happy, and going to church was fun for my father. Random memories. My father loved me. I was at peace. His hand was on my leg. Tears were splattering against his blue jeans. You were such a perfect son. I lost you for so long, and now that I got you back, you're running off again. I feel like just as I'm starting to figure you out, and you're leaving, I just don't know what to do. You will always be my baby boy, with a big grin and a mop of bright blonde hair. You know, your first words were, "I love you." You know who you said that to? Me. I will never forget that moment. This new baby will never replace you. You will always be my firstborn, and I will always love you like the day you were born. We passed by Thubton's house. He had taken me this route hundreds of times before. As we passed it, I took a look at the backyard, and a huge laser was standing where Thubton's trampoline used to be. I couldn't help but smile. I miss you, Thubton. I couldn't help but say it. I looked out the window lovingly and put my hand to the frosty glass. Indian summer, I thought to myself. I just couldn't cry. I wanted to so bad, but I just couldn't cry. And I would always regret that. And I'm going to miss you too, Dad. I love you. I always have. I always loved you more than Mom. And I'm not going to forget you. And I know you'll never forget me. And I sure as hell know I'm not being replaced. I'm just getting a new brother. And I will see you again. I just have to get out on my own. Explore the world. Besides, I'm moving to your Republican candidate's home state, Texas. Every time I see the Alamo, I'll remember you. How about that? I was trying to lighten the mood. My sense of humor hadn't fully returned. I'll get to see you and Andrea really soon, first holiday. I'll have a baby brother to kiss by then. I love you, Jacob. I will always be here for you. If you ever need money or anything, you can count on me. I'll be there for you. Just give me a call and I'll wire you some funds. But I know that you are smart and getting smarter every day. You'll do fine. I have a feeling you won't have a problem making a name for you out beyond the Mississippi. Thanks, Joseph. We had a hug, and then, quite astonishingly, we shook hands as equals. His grip was like a vice. I returned his strength as best I could.